If you do what I just tell you to do, I'm not sure if you're gonna do it, but if you do, you're gonna get a client.
Do it!
So when I got into business in 2017, I was told to start working by referrals. But me as a brand new agent, I was always curious, how am I supposed to get referrals if nobody knows me and if nobody knows my service? So I went to the managing broker and he told me, Oleg, you really need to start throwing mud against the wall and see what sticks. I decided, because I was kind of not feeling comfortable calling my friends because they were like in 20s, I thought that they would always be renting. And I didn't feel comfortable calling them asking for referrals. I thought, let me try and work with strangers. Let me make some calls. And if I make about 200 calls, I'm going to talk to maybe 3-4 people, maybe. And maybe I'll get somebody on the line and maybe somebody book an appointment with me and maybe I'll have a listing appointment. And I was very shy. I was very afraid. I didn't have no skills. I have no scripts but I watched a lot of YouTubes and listened to a lot of podcasts. And that helped a lot. And so I decided to start making cold calls and learn from there. And that started to work pretty fast. But I remember when I was hiding from my wife and from the people in the office, if somebody was walking by and listening to my conversation, I would just either hang up the phone or just change the topic or just, end the conversation. I was very afraid of people listening to my phone calls. In about 3 months, I got 3 first listings. And that was pretty quick results, and I was very happy with them. And that kept me going, and that kept me in the business, because for the first 6 months, I got some listings going, I got some offers, some listings I lost. I wasn't able to sell those first listings, but I already was busy, and I was busy with something. And then in about 6 months, my friends started to reach out to me. And so I think that if I hadn't been in the business for the first 6 months making calls, I would have probably quit, because my friends weren't really in the market and trusting me in the first 6 months. And for me to stick around for the first 6 months and not even being able to work on anything and just waiting for some referrals to come, I would have probably quit by now. And the meetings and the people that I met and appointments that I had from these calls that I was doing, I wouldn't have any chance to meet those people otherwise. This was the only way for me to reach out to somebody who owns 5-6 flats in the market, who owns 120 units. There's a client that I met through calls that has 120 units in the local market, and he trusted me with his goals of real estate, and I was able to help him buy 3 condos, buy a 6 flat, sell a house. Right now, I have a client I called as a for sale by owner. I called them, I listed their house, I sold their house, and then she referred me to her brother, who is right now closing next week. So the moral, what I'm trying to drive here and with this video, is that if you want to get a client as soon as possible, and I guarantee you, if you do this, if you call for 1 hour every single day, just 1 hour, just make it a habit, 1 hour per day, and if you talk to at least 4 to 5 people per day, I guarantee you, you're going to have a listing appointment very, very, very soon, and you're going to be proactive about your business. You're going to take the bull by the horn, and you're going to run your business like it should be run, because you're in the business. You have to take control. You can't just hope and wait for the clients to come and referrals to start pouring in. I love referrals, and they will be coming in. But if I need a client today, I need to go get the client. And making calls, I don't care what anybody says. If they telling you that cold calls don't work, tell them they don't and wish them good luck, because I'm here to tell you that they do work. And you don't have to come into making calls and think that I have to convince somebody. How do I book an appointment? How do I you start slowly. First thing you need to focus on is, how do I actually create a habit of making calls every single day? First thing. Then, how do I actually start ringing the phone number? And if somebody picks up, what is my first sentence? What is my line number 1? What is my line number 2? As soon as you master those first, you are now rolling. Now you're okay with making calls. Now you're okay with having somebody else on the line. Now you're okay asking the question. You slowly start leading, and you're going to bump into a wall. First wall is like, how do I actually ask regarding whether they work with the broker or buyer's broker if it's a for sale by owner, for example. Do you work with buyer's broker who brings buyers? That would be your first question. And then you would be comfortable asking that question, and it will lead you to nothing in the beginning. But then you're like, okay, I'm fine with calling every day. I am okay when people pick up the phone. I know my first line. I know my question, and I know how to get to this point. Next point is, and then you start slowly working there. You can't build a company with thousands of agents when you don't have a lease lined up. You know what I mean? So you can't book an appointment and close the sale if you don't even make calls in the beginning. So don't think about converting anybody or selling anything before you start making calls. If you're looking for a client and you had, for example, a day or two to get a client, this is what I would do. I would create a habit and I would start making phone calls. And if you do that, trust me, if you do it, if you follow, if you do what I tell you, if you make a call, you're going to get the client.